Greetings to everyone out there in YouTube land. I'm Ahmed Hassanin, and I just want to give a shout out to Coach Dan. Thank you for all the support you show the team and the players. Everyone hit the like, subscription button, and yell woo in the comments. Thank you, and go Lions.
What's going on, guys? It is Aiden Hutchinson.
What's up, man? It's your boy Amon-Ra St. Brown.
What's up to Lion Talk Live? So we love you too, buddy.
What's up, everybody? It's Calvin Johnson Jr. here, a.k.a. Megatron, a.k.a. First Ballot.
Greetings and salutations to everyone out there in YouTube land. This is Dan Skipper, offensive weapon for the Detroit Lions. Make sure you all help support Lions Talk Live, Coach Dan, by clicking on that like and subscribe button. Everybody, woo!
Well, greetings and salutations to everybody out there in YouTube land. I am your host, once again, Dan Thornton, and I want to thank you all for joining us here today. Hey, it's Lions Talk Live. It's Wednesday. It's halfway through the week. You know the NFL season for the next week begins tomorrow, and we've got all sorts of news that's going to affect the Detroit Lions, including, I want to give a shout-out real quick. We'll get into this during the main top of the day, but it looks like the Lions, most of you probably already know, they signed Trey Flowers, not that Trey Flowers, to the practice squad last night. But it looks like they may be looking to sign another cornerback. This is going to come from our friends at Cleveland Browns at SI.com. We'll dive into this to the main top of the day, but it does appear Brad Holmes, Dan Campbell are not done addressing the cornerback room. Whether or not this will be a practice squad move, I don't know. It could be for the regular roster. This guy did play on the Browns 53-man roster and made some plays. Why they got rid of him? Everybody in Cleveland is kind of speculating on that, but we'll talk about this more in-depthly during the main top of the day. Before we get to the main top of the day, before we get to the 5 glorious headlines now, before we get into everything else in between, if you haven't yet subscribed to Lions Talk Live, please consider doing so. We're making that march for 14,800 subs. We are 28 away from that, so if you can help out with that, I'd be highly thankful. Also, if you got a half second of time, it won't cost you anything whatsoever, not even a dime. Reach on down, hit that thumbs up button, hit that like button, hit all the buttons. We try to get every episode of the show between 200, 300, 400 or more thumbs up or likes. Last, but most certainly never least, with the holidays and the fall basically here, if you are considering looking for someone to maybe clean your windows, are you maybe trying to get your gutters cleaned out before winter hits in, get all those elbows, leaves, and everything all freed up? Then go ahead, or maybe even have holiday lights hung up. Go ahead and head on over. You see it on the bottom of the screen, scrolling through. Go to customshinewindowscleaning.com or call Tom McKenzie at 248-363-1911. They've been serving the greater Oakland County area since 1997. Again, you want those lights hung up for you so you don't have to worry about it? Go ahead and give them a call. You want the gutters clean? Give them a call. You want the windows washed? Guess what? Give them a call. Go ahead and check them out. They're part of the Duke crew. They're longtime members. And you know what? If you can maybe consider giving them a call, see what they can do for you, bring their excellent services your way, might not be a bad move. All right, with all that done, settled away, let's get this show rocking, rolling, going, and kicking off with 5 headlines now. All right, 5 glorious headlines heading our way. Before we get into this, though, I want to throw something at you guys. Hey, I got a graphic for you. Let's add it to the stage. Ranks in sacks. Lions first Lions defense sacks on quarterbacks. That's right. As a team, there's nobody doing it currently better than the Detroit Lions. While that's probably impressive to everybody out there in YouTube land, because we made such a big deal out of it this offseason, this draft, this free agency window, that, man, we need this end, we need that end, we need to draft this guy, we need to trade for that guy. You know what? The Lions, there's nobody currently in the NFL as of this week doing it better than us. The other part of it is, after the week 1 debacle in Green Bay, you'd probably be forgiven if you had some real big questions about the Detroit Lions offensive line. But since that week, Lions are 3rd in giving up sacks. So that means there's only 2 teams doing it better, protecting their quarterback than the Detroit Lions. I think we can all agree, watching this Lions offensive line each week, they keep getting better, they keep developing, and you know what? They're starting to look pretty dang impressive. Are they as good as last year's team? Well, when you get stats like this, you do have to start debating which is better. I think they're good in their own ways. They have some weaknesses in their own ways, but there's no doubt about it. This Lions offensive line is becoming pretty dang good. All right, with that out of the way, let's get into the 5 glorious headlines now. Speaking of stuff for the Detroit Lions, injured Lions rookie forcing Detroit to be patient with slow recovery. Fan side story about Jonathan Afford. So we get it. The Lions made a couple moves during the draft to work on the future of the offensive line. Ratledge, I think everybody watching the show agreed, he's been as advertised. When the Lions made the move to acquire him in the second round, it seemed like a perfect marriage of personality, abilities, and what would be expected from him from the coaching staff. But then if you guys also remember, Miles Frazier was added to the team via the draft in the latter rounds. And you know what? We haven't quite seen him yet. There hasn't been a whole lot of updates on how his knee recovery is going, just that it's taking some time. Frazier, when he's healthy, it will be interesting to see what they do with him. He did play tackle. He did play guard. You know, is he going to do either one of those for the Lions? Probably. Now, where's his future going to be with Detroit? I don't know. But I do think that as soon as he's healthy, the Lions are going to take their due diligence and time getting him ready. Could he be the next Christian Mahogany? Remember, Mahogany had an awesome end to the regular season last year, and now obviously is performing at a very high level for the Lions offensive line. Mahogany did miss an incredible amount of time to start last year because of mono. Frazier obviously doesn't have mono, but that knee is getting better and better from some reports. When will he return? I guess we'll have to wait and see, but we have talked about often on this show, the Lions need more depth at tackle or guard or whatever going forward deeper into the season. And then the postseason, could it be Miles Frazier? Is that answer? I guess we'll only one way to find out. We'll have to wait and see. All right, next to the 5 glorious headlines now. Lions film study. After seeing this, Tyleik Williams grades make no sense at all. A to Z Sports story by Mike Payton. I don't always appreciate some of the grades that we get out of Pro Football Focus or whoever's grades you want to go by. The only thing I'll say about those grades is simply this. 2 people can look at the same thing and see, in their own opinions, completely different stuff. Last week, Tyleik Williams did not get good grades from Pro Football Focus. But I think a lot of people, when they saw that, they were shocked by that. I can only tell you, watching the game live, when I would pay attention to him, I thought he performed at a really high level. Why Pro Football Focus gave him a low 40s grade? They're the ones who are going to answer that. But if you go back, rewatch the tape, and just go in coach mode, maybe you guys want to do it. Maybe even check out this story, because this story does offer, I think, like 3 or 4 different clips. Maybe there's more than that, but something right around there of breakdowns of what the young rookie is doing and doing incredibly well. He often was asked to take on double teams to help help a teammate get open on a stunt or whatever. I know one time he took on a double team from the Cleveland Browns and allowed Pat O'Connor, that crazy guy, to get after the opposing quarterback, and it was basically unabated to the quarterback. It's only a quarter of the way through the season, roughly, but I would say this. Anybody who had questions about why the Lions drafted this kid, I think he's put that to rest, and in droves. Williams, I think Tyleik he's only getting started, like most rookies, right? You're only going to get better and better. But what you see out of him early on is just so good. I've been surprised by some of his grades being lower. I mean, somebody from Pro Football Focus or wherever is going to have to come over and explain why they ding him so much, because at least in my opinion, it sounds like Mike Payton's opinion as well. When you watch the game tape, there's just not many holes in this guy. Does he get some pressure on the quarterback to a degree? Yeah. Does he destroy the middle of the line for the run game or for the opposing team? Absolutely. Is he able to take on double teams and win? Yes. I mean, there's just nothing I'm seeing on tape where I'm like, man, technically he messed this up. He didn't do this on an assignment. Man, he's slacking here, whatever. This kid's got a motor, and that motor is just going and going and going. And I think as he gets better and better with some of his hand placement, winning leverage responsibilities, getting a quicker reaction to different plays once he recognizes them more and more, stuff that comes with experience. This kid might be off the chart. I'm not going to say he's going to be a Hall of Famer or anything like that, but I think he's going to be a real strong contributing factor to this Lions defense for the foreseeable future. So and when you get an opportunity, pull up the story, take a peek at it, and see some of the clips they provide within it. All right, NFL Week 5 Power Rankings. Detroit Lions comfortably a top 3 team. SB Nation story by Eric Schlitz. And probably not a big surprise at all to anybody who's a Detroit Lions fan or just an NFL fan. Lions were left for dead after Week 1. You guys get it. I get it. Hey, it's an old story now. But what we can now say is, who's better than the Detroit Lions in the NFL? Try to be as nonpartisan as you can be and answer that question. Go ahead and let me know. Who's the best team in the NFL in your guys' opinion? Do you have the Lions as a top 10 team, a top 5 team, a top 3 team? Throw your thoughts. I'll be interested to see what you guys have to say about this. But going through a multitude of different publications' thoughts. The Ringer, we'll start with this one. They had him as number 3 last week. They're going to keep him at number 3 this week. Hey, they talk about it in their little blip about it. The loss to Green Bay is long forgotten at this point. I think most people are just looking at it as an asterisk. NFL.com is going to keep us at 3. That we went from 3 to 3. I'll give a multitude of things saying, hey, the stuff about the OC and DC being new, going to hold this team back. That seems like it's not panning out so well for people that commented on that. Sports Illustrated also kept us as a 3. The week before we were 3. The fact that they said that they go on and talk about the Lions offensive line, which a lot of people are, it seems like nationally, that Myles Garrett didn't get a sack on JG, that yes, he got some pressures, but never got to the quarterback, affected some plays, is a real compliment to what the Lions are committed to doing on the offensive end. Gives some also praise to John Morton for some of his play calling. ESPN moved us up to number 3. They did list one big issue for the Lions offense, and that's getting wide receiver Jameson Williams more involved. I think the Lions tried to do it last week, but both because Myles Garrett's pressure and maybe just some miscommunications. You heard MCDC talk about it during his presser the other day, maybe because they didn't practice some stuff, keeping some fatigue off the players, trying to help them recover a little bit quicker on a shorter week. Maybe that was a part of it as well. All right, Yahoo Sports is going to move us from 5 to 3. They just said, hey, it kind of talked about the Green Bay thing. Was that a one-off? They think now it was, and that, yes, the Lions are definitely one of the top 3 most powerful teams in the entire National Football League. The Athletic also moved us from 5 to 3. Did put a spotlight on rookie Tate Ratledge. Said that, man, if you had to redo the draft this week or whatever from last spring, where would Ratledge go? They think he's a top 15 pick and maybe the best offensive lineman in last year's draft. Do you agree with that? Do you disagree with that? I'd say it's hard to think of somebody else who's been producing at a higher level on the offensive draft picks from last spring than Ratledge. Ratledge, man, he might have had some struggles, might have been a lot of different reasonings for it. I'm not going to debate that all day, what happened in Green Bay, but I think everybody agrees whatever it was then, he's learned from it, developed, and now he's a mauler. All right, CBS Sports is going to take us from 6 to 3. The offense wasn't good against the Browns, but is that a credit to what the Browns bring to the table, or is it something that the Lions didn't do right? What they do know is this. The Lions got all 3 phases involved. They're one of the few teams that seems to be able to do that fairly consistently, and there's no real big holes in this Lions roster. USA Today took us from 6 to 5. Hey, Aiden Hutchinson, here's a stat for you guys. Probably could have done a video on it. Going back to his injury-aborted 2024 season, defensive end Aiden Hutchinson has 11.5 sacks in his past 9 games. He had 11.5 sacks over 17 games during the 2023 season. And yes, there have been some people in both Detroit media and nationally that have thrown some shade at him. Even said that the Lions should not pay him what he's probably going to get paid. Maybe consider moving on from him. I would say this, what he's done at the start of this year, plus what we saw last year, I think he's putting that to rest. Aiden Hutchinson, he might not be Myles Garrett. He might not be, I don't know, whoever else you want to list on that list. He might not be a 10 out of 10 pass rusher, But you know what? He might be a 9.5 out of 10, and that's pretty hard to replicate. Sporting News is going to take us from 7 to 5. It has a lot of people talking about the connection between Jared Goff and then Amon-Ra St. Brown. Also talks about Gibbs. Some people are starting to doubt him after the performance against the Ravens. Well, they might have doubted him a little bit less after this week. So, all right, enough of that one. Let's move on to the next of the 5 headlines now. Going to have a little fun with this one. Remember all off season, the Lions, before I spoil it by putting it on the screen. Remember, everybody said, man, you need to re-sign Za'Darius Smith. Za'Darius Smith, why aren't we getting Za'Darius Smith? Man, Za'Darius Smith would make this defense this, that, and the other thing. Well, let's go over to Fanside, because Fanside, and this is from their division, kind of pointing towards the Philadelphia Eagles. Za'Darius Smith signing may have been celebrated too soon. Again, Jonah Alford with the Fanside. A lot of people in Philly after the first week, they get it, man, or his first game, I should say, with the Philadelphia Eagles, thought this was a massive win for the team. Man, the Lions really missed something here. Well, you know what? He's been fairly quiet since. Philly fans are kind of turning bad on him and even starting to think they overpaid him. I don't know if that's the case. I don't know if the schemes. I haven't watched much of their games, so I can't really speak intelligently on what's going on with Za'Darius Smith. What we do know is this. He is not putting up a lot of the stats that people anticipated him to put up throughout the year. He did have a good first game with them. After that, he's been kind of silent, and it is leading to some speculation in Philadelphia land that maybe Brad Holmes knew more than he anticipated, and that, or at least put on camera or mic or whatever, and just said simply, hey, we like Za'Darius. We don't love him. They think he's trending down. Let somebody else sign him. Somebody else did sign him, and it does appear to be a little bit of buyer's remorse happening over there. Za'Darius Smith, I think everybody agrees. He's a good guy, good human being, lots of upside. I don't think the Lions would have been a bad spot to sign him by any stretch. I think he would have been a nice rotational piece, but when everybody was jumping up and down with his results after week 2, his first game with Philadelphia, he's been tapering off pretty significantly ever since then. Just food for thought, apparently. All right, last of the 5 glorious headlines now. Lions signing former Seahawks starting cornerback after injuries to DJ Reed and Terrion Arnold. A to Z Sports, Mike Payton. Hey, everybody jumped on air yesterday to talk about this. I unfortunately couldn't. I had some work commitments to do. I like the signing. It's a nice practice squad move. If we get some more injuries, then maybe he moves up to the 53-man roster more and more. And yes, this is Trey Flowers, not that Trey Flowers. He was a starting cornerback for the Seahawks for a while. He has 287 career tackles, 4 interceptions, 5 forced fumbles, and 5 fumble recoveries. So definitely somebody who's got some experience, a veteran, which you probably want. The Lions, if they can sneak through this week, I don't know if Terrion Arnold's going to play or not. I'd say it's a coin flip whether he does. If I'm the Lions, maybe I try to sneak him through, let him just, sit and rest this week, and then knowing, Kansas City, Tampa Bay, we'll probably need him a little bit more than it doesn't sound by any stretch of the imagination from MCDC that Arnold's injury is very significant, but maybe if you can rest him up and get through the Bengals game, then hey, he's pretty good to go for those other games. But what the nice move about Trey Flowers signing is, again, he's got a lot of experience. He can play different positions. He can go inside and out. Something really the Lions are a little limited on right now with Reed out and Terrion Arnold out, as most of their prevailing quarterbacks on the roster are interior guys, not outside guys. But you know what? You probably make them work one way or the other. We'll see if ultimately Trey Flowers has any big impact on the team or not, or if nothing else, you now have a little bit of cornerback depth on the practice squad. All right, with that all done, set out of the way, let's get over to the main topic today. You got a 2-for-1. That's right, you're getting 2 main topics for the price of 1, and you don't have to pay any additional fees. All right, 1, 2, 3, let's get over to the main topic of the day. All right, let's start off with who is that Cleveland Browns guy in the thumbnail, because I'm guessing that's what everybody's asking. And that's Cameron Mitchell. Mitchell, cornerback, was just released yesterday, like last night. He's 5'11 and a half, so he would be one of the bigger Lions cornerbacks out there. Now, the reason why I brought this up is media in Cleveland has him actually coming to Detroit. They said the Lions and the Browns were actually talking about a trade, and they didn't give specifics, just that it was believed to be late round pick consideration, so something like a 7th round pick. The Browns yesterday shook up the roster quite a bit. They made a bunch of different moves, and I'm not here to talk about the Cleveland Browns, but if you guys want to know, you can look it up. And one of them, the surprise, I think a lot of people thought, is that you're letting him go. He's a third-year cornerback who's making some plays. Not like he was a star. Don't go there with that. But, he was a consistent player. He's 24 years old. He was a 5th-round pick out of Northwestern in 2028. And he was taken as the 142nd overall pick. All right, not a big deal there. But, hey, not bad by any stretch. Mitchell appeared in 32 games for the Browns, racking up 43 total tackles, 4 passes defense, a sack, and a forced fumble on Derrick Henry in a Week 2 loss to the Baltimore Ravens. So, against the Ravens and, in the game 1, he was out there and performing at a fairly good, noticeable rate. Why they're moving off from him has not become clear. Was there something that happened in the locker room? I don't know. Again, this all kind of happened late last night or real early this morning, depending on where you're splitting hairs on that. So it sounds like they talked to a couple different teams about moving a few parts. The Lions did have a conversation with them about this cornerback, and that's all I got for you is that a conversation was had. Ultimately, as you could probably gain, no deal was made. He was released, but now that he's released, if you are the Lions and you want a little bit of starting cornerback, experience, a little bit taller cornerback than what you currently have on the roster, and somebody who can hit. If you watch this kid play, he can lay the wood on people, which we all know MCDC wants from his cornerbacks. He wants him to be able to set the edge. He can't just be a coverage corner. You have to come up and hit. And he's 191, 195 pounds. That is not a small cornerback. It's not like he's the biggest one in the NFL, but you guys get it. He's no small guy. It wouldn't cost anything to get him other than a contract. So will the Lions now do something that he's a free agent? We'll have to wait and see. The other part of the main topic of the day, the 2-for-1 deal, is that MCDC and more people, and I want to give credit where credit's due, there is Detroit media as far as TV reporting this, that, Alim McNeil is going to return to practice this week. That obviously has not been confirmed from Lions representation at this time, although MCDC did say there was some potential he could return this week. If he returns this week, they'll start the 21-day countdown on him, and my guess is you'll get him back probably the Tampa Bay game right before the bye. I guess it could be right after the bye, but what we do know is you get Alim McNeil back, this defense is going to start looking different in a big hurry. I like the idea of getting him back. I do think, and I've gone on record saying that I think he will be asked to play the big defensive end at times, not like he's going to be there all the time. But I do think you'll see situations where maybe on first down or second down where the Lions are just trying to collapse the pocket. Maybe you have Tyleik Williams at one nose tackle, DJ Reader at the other, and then Alim the Dream out on wide at the defensive end. You think about what that does for opposing teams with Aiden Hutchinson out there as well. McNeil and Hutchinson on opposite sides, you know what? It's going to be hard to run out wide. And if your goal, like the Lions have had all year, is this to simply on first and second down, collapse the pocket, keep multiple quarterbacks at bay, and slow down running backs, force teams to become one-dimensional in the passing attack, it might not be a bad move. We'll have to see what happens. I would also speculate or throw at you guys that when he returns, Alim McNeil, he's probably going to be on a pitch count. How many snaps will he get a game? I don't know, but they're not going to give him like 90% of the snaps. They're not going to let him really exhaust that knee where it threatens a re-injury. It'd be my guess they're going to take their time and get him right and then get him up to speed more and more throughout the rest of the year. We'll have to wait and see what happens with both these guys, but what are your thoughts on Mitchell potentially coming to Detroit, the now released Cleveland Browns corner? Again, he'd be one of the bigger corners on there. He'd be a little bit shorter than Terrion Arnold, but not by much. You're splitting hairs. And you know what? He's somebody who likes to lay the wood. He likes to get in there and mix it up. He is used often in Cleveland from checking out Jimmy Schwartz film, used as a blitz corner, getting after the quarterback or running backs in the backfield. So let me know your thoughts on him. What would you do with Alim McNeil? Again, I think we all know when he comes back, that's going to help out a lot. But would you put him in as the starting nose tackle and sit DJ Reader? Would you sit Tyleik Williams? Or do you find a way to get them all out there at the same time? Let me know your thoughts in the comment section if you would be so kind. All right, guys, I've given you a whole lot to digest this morning. Let's see what you guys have to say about all these things, and maybe just a little bit more in the comment section. All right, here we go. Michael D, greetings and salutations, Coach Dan and Duke Crew, exclamation point, one pride, woo, good to see you, my friend. Bo, good morning, Duke Crew, move over, little dogs, the big old dog is moving in, exclamation point, woo, that sounds like it's in a song somewhere if I'm not mistaken. Moonscar Blade, good morning, Duke Crew, starting lineup, exclamation point, did we get a corner on the practice squad? We did, and I like Flowers, I think he'll be nice. I just think he's probably going to take a week or so to, if they're going to move him up to the 53, probably going to take a week or so to kind of get him acclimated with everything going to be asked from the call signs and et cetera, and then maybe they make that move. Another Trey Flowers, but not that Trey Flowers. Jess, we did Moodscar. He was from Seattle, so I don't know who the brown guy is in the photo. And now you know, and knowing is half the battle. Johnny L., good morning, folks. Back at you. Drake, glad to hear about McNeil coming back this week or next. Our D-line will be real nice adding him to it. 100%, man. 100%. You can never have enough talent. You have more than enough talent. You know what you do as a coach? You find ways to use that talent. Detroit, Matt, good morning, Duke Crew. What a time to be alive. The Lions running the North and the Tigers potentially heading back to the ALDS today. Who has it better than us, baby? No, nobody. How about that? With an exclamation point. Yeah, Tigers, impressive win yesterday. A lot of people wrote them off. They were dead. I get it. They had a fairly noticeable, fall the last couple of weeks of the regular season. But you know what? You win this game today, everybody's going to forget about that. Johnny L., what's the good news? And now you know my friend Stephanie. Good morning, boys. Exclamation point. Getting ready for work. So just check in. Hope we win big again this weekend. Keep the stress down on us. I think there's some potential there, which begs the question. I know a bunch of you guys are going to be talking about it and asking about it. If the Bengals really get whopped this weekend by the Lions, do they start selling off parts? I think while you're not mathematically out of the playoffs, it's going to be a tough ask. It can happen that they could recover, but with Burrow's situation with that foot, I don't know. I'd see them that maybe they're potentially saying, hey, we got to start getting some draft capital for next year. If they don't do it, then who knows? But I know a lot of you guys will ask about Trey Hendrickson or something like that. I don't see them trading him, or at least somebody stepping up and giving him much for him. How about that? Maybe that's the better way to word it. Johnny L., good morning, Stephanie. Eddie Moore, good morning, Coach Dan and the New Crew. What a team. What a podcast. Exclamation point. What a time to be a Lions fan. Woo! And back at you. Always good to see you, Henry. It's hump day, and what's cooking? We'll find out, man, but I am getting hungry. Henry Moore, good morning, Stephanie. Johnny L., great morning to you, Henry. Henry Moore, good morning, Johnny L. Henry Moore, sorry, fat fingers. It happens, man. Silver, good morning, Coach and all Lions fans. Back at you. We're going to do good morning, Duke Crew. One pride. Bo, you and George put it so eloquently with an exclamation point. Jess, greetings, salutations, Duke Crew. Alim will make our D just nasty. Put pressure up the gut on quarterbacks is always good. Heard we got another DB. Is he any good? He's fair. Yeah, I mean, I'm not going to say he's going to be a starter for us if everybody's healthy, but you know what? He's a veteran. He's not a liability out there, so he's a good depth piece if we choose to elevate him upwards. Silver, what's the move? Question mark, Trey Flowers or somebody else? And now you know. Bo, I'm still waiting on my one bourbon hookadoo. All right, get him a bourbon then, my friend. Hookadoo, Johnny L. Silver, I'm feel in some grit building. Oh, yeah, well, feel on in some grit. Let's see, Dave, do the Bengals have any quarterback play to worry about? Question mark. They have some great receivers, but that quarterback doesn't seem good. I guess the polite way to answer this would be to word it like this. Look at how many teams in the NFL need a starting quarterback. That tells you how many teams actually do not have a good starting quarterback, let alone a good backup quarterback. No disrespect to any backup quarterback in the NFL, but there's just not many that are as effective as the starters. And if you're somehow blessed to have an effective backup, you're in rare air. Because other quarterbacks do go down from time to time. Thankfully, we may be facing a easier task stopping the Bengals offense this week than we would have maybe a month ago. All right, so Sarah Hookadoo is strong with a smile and loves cats. Okay, Attila Hun, if they can survive until they get back Reed, TA, and Davenport 100%, and Rodriguez, they will be fine. I am losing hope for Pascal. Pascal, man, I get the team won't come out and say officially what's going on with him, even though I think at this point, most fans probably can assume what's happening with that young man, and just thoughts and prayers to him and his family. If we're all correct with our assumptions, then he's not worried about football. He's just worried about life in general, and hopefully he's getting the best treatment possible for that. All right, Jennifer, good morning. All back at you, Johnny L. I know nothing about the Bengals. That might tell you all you need to know about the Bengals. Amy Spray, what do you got? Good morning, Dan, and the ultra fabulous new crew! Exclamation point! Keep up the good work. Thank you for that. Go Lions! Woo! And as always, pleasure to see you, Amy. France can't overlook anyone in this league. Signed the New York Giants. No, you're right, man. One thing you learn in coaching real early, the longer in the game you keep that other team around. I mean, heck, look at the Cleveland Browns and Green Bay Packers. You give that team the possibility of winning. You give them the belief, the mindset. They just need one play. Then you start getting tense. You start, just not playing as you normally would. And so if you get an opportunity, put it on the Bengals, put it on them, and make sure by the third quarter they're thinking about what they're getting for dinner. All right, tell the Hun. I like that. Trey is big, tall, nice to have a large cornerback. Yeah, I agree with you there, 100%. It'd be nice to have a little bit more of that. Jim, I like Flowers as a rental, but doubt a 2-year contract at mid-30s. Yeah, probably just 1-year rental, especially now that the season's already started. There'll be a whole lot less guarantees on that contract. Hoodoo, all we have to do, Bo, is rock it over. Bo, okay, rock on over. Bo, Silver Server, we can't just pray. We can just pray Pascal gets healed and proceeds to have a meaningful life. Forget about football. Yeah, I'm just hoping he gets over what we're assuming it is. That sounds like most of us are. Johnny L., good morning. Jennifer and Amy Spray. Jennifer, until the Hunt, Pascal is fighting a bigger battle, and I pray for that young man. Well said indeed. Trey, what's good, everybody? Question mark. Silver Surfer, have they officially said what's going on with Pascal? Officially, no, they have not. Silver Surfer, Jim, they have him they gave him a 2-year deal? No, I don't think so. I think he's just a 1-year deal. It would be just cap purposes. The bag is full of tricks to square things out. Yes, they are always trying to trick things. Bo, the Lions are bad to the bone, exclamation point. I agree with that. Dre Day, this is just to give competition and practices. Looks to me like MCDC feels the corners they have are enough for game time. Yeah, I would agree with that. And to be fair, some of the backups we have are pretty dang good. So now that you got Vontae Maddox in there, probably Brian Branch will be used in some degree that in that regards. Rocky Singh, yeah, all of them are going to be used, and I think they're more than capable. I agree. Silver Server, his life is more important. I back that up 1,000,000%. Jennifer, does anyone know what we got Trey Flowers for as far as contract? No, that won't be released as of yet. Silver Server, Trey Tipton, no, they keep silent over the matter. It's not a football-related injury. It tells us everything we need to know. He must be battling. And yes, I think he is. Hopefully he's all right, man, because I don't wish that on anybody. Johnny L., praying for that young man. Well said. Great day. I know I shouldn't care what the national media says, but according to them, if the Lions don't score 50 on the Bengals, they're not a real team. Go with it then, man. I mean, I'm not worried about what the media says, and probably we shouldn't either. All right, Lions blood, Trey Flowers, what the heck? We are a Super Bowl contender. Go get Asante Samuel. I agree. I guarantee a team like the Packers will go get him. Yeah, if I remember right from yesterday's show, Lions blood, I think they're just waiting for the official scans or results of his spinal fusion to be public. Once they have those results out, you're right. I think a lot of teams are going to be trying to sign him, and maybe the Lions as well. So, but everybody wants to know, can he actually play yet? Once they have that, you'll probably see somebody gobble him up. Jennifer, Trey Tipton, no, they haven't, but he has been battling cancer in the past, I do believe. Yeah, in college, he did get over it, thankfully. 5 years right. Brad really appears to have nailed it with Williams and Rapp. Both are playing at a high level. You're not wrong there. Both of those rookies are indeed playing at a high level. Jennifer, Lions blood, totally agreed. John, the offensive line has performed much better early in the season than I would have guessed in preseason. No, I think they're superseding a lot of expectations. That's a credit to each of those players. It's a credit to Hank Fraley. Man, it's just a credit to the team of what they're doing. Look at Dre Day. Wasn't it the media last year criticizing the Lions for running up the scores? They were. They were indeed. Silver Server, going just by what I heard from Campbell, Amik number 1, Dorsey, or Singh number 2. That wouldn't surprise me if Branch plays nickel with Maddox going to safety. Yeah, probably something like that. And who knows, maybe Terrion Arnold does play this week, although, yeah, boy, you don't want to overlook anybody. I could see why the Lions might want to just say, hey, you sit this one out. We'll just go after the quarterback more and, give him another full week to recover. We'll see what they do. Dre Day, I thought Asante was hurt. He's had a spinal fusion, but, it's done with. It's over with now. Now they're just waiting for those results this week to be released to see where he stands with things. Johnny, I love it here. I think we all do, my friend. Pierce, Dre Day, he is spinal fusion surgery. Correct with that, Mark GT. Don't expect McNeil to be 100%. It seems like most ACL injured players aren't recovered fully until the second season. Yeah, somewhere around there. And, not to bring this up, man, but you look at Tyreek Hill and everything he just went through. They are saying he might miss all of next season. That just goes to show you start messing with the knees or back or whatever, there's no guarantees when you'll come back. Alim, I think, is really been motivated, it seems like. But you're right, Mark. When he gets back, he's probably going to be like 80% of what we're used to seeing. And then maybe by the latter part of the year, right before the playoffs, maybe he's like 90%. But still, a 90% Alim the Dream McNeil, that's pretty good. So, I want to give a shout out to Coach Dan. I see other YouTubers charging money to have your comments read. This man reads all of ours for free. Yes, I do, man. It's part of the Duke Crew. It's part of the show. It's just, it's what I do. Chris Steele, what up, Duke Crew? I'm back at you. Server. By the way, I'd like to say that as much as I like MCDC, there was no need to run up the score on Chicago. No need to ever really, if you won the game already. I mean, every coach has their own philosophies on it. I mean, Joe Gibbs, his philosophy was, it's not our job to stop ourselves. You've got to stop us. The professional level. I would be fully on board if you were talking like, like pee-wee football or middle school football or high school football. You start getting to the college ranks, the pro ranks. I mean, unless you want guys just take knees every play. I mean, I guess it's just a tough one, and there's no easy answer there. Dre Day, that's true, Hookadoo, but no one in the national media is saying the Lions are a low top 10 team since they haven't won against a real team. This is accurate. Lions blood, Dre Day, if he is hurt, then that's a Brad Holmes guy. But in all seriousness, he was hurt, but everything has checked out with him. Yeah, I think they're probably by the end of the week, you'll see the full results come out, and somebody's going to sign him, man. He's too good. Susan Scott, I've seen that too. So along, you have a member to get noticed. Okay. Jennifer, good morning. See Kurt Steele, good morning. Kurt Steele, good morning. Jennifer, Tori Apple, just take our time with McNeil. Let's not rush him. I agree with that. Yeah, don't make him go too fast. Sir, in fact, I think MCDC should have kicked that short field goal against Cleveland. You're up 20-10 in a defensive battle. Put those 3 points on the eggs basket. Let special teams do their job. He went for the kill shot. Let's see, Kurt Steele talking quiet downers this morning on the Boss Up Ball podcast. We'll check it out. Lions Talk Live fan. Good morning, Dewey's. Henry Moore. All in all, I am happy with our D-line. Our safeties are great. Ball Hawks. You're not wrong there. Well said, my friend. Dre Day, Lions blood. Brad only likes hurt if it's cheap. Ooh, that's a good point. And Asante Samuel was only 25. He will not be cheap. The Lions just need a filler till the Reed comes back. I'll go with that. Steve Rogers, so along. I don't get the value in the memberships on many of those pods. Yeah, that I don't know about. I don't have any memberships on any podcast. Henry Moore, good morning, Professor Steele. Johnny L, I'm happy with our team. Dre Day, thanks, Pierce. I thought so. Queen Mary, good morning, Duke Crew. And Coach Dan, happy Wednesday. I see we got a new addition to the team yesterday. What y'all got? What's y'all take? I like him. I like his size. I like his abilities. Now, how quickly can he get him up to our playbook and where he's be effective on the field? We'll have to wait and see, Mary. Good morning, Professor Steele. Pat Rock, good morning, Duke Crew. Get this game and then at least one of the two before the bye. Yeah, if you can do that, because it's not going to be an easy task beating both Kansas City and Tampa Bay, but let's just assume you get one of those two. I think at that point, fans got to feel pretty good about things. You're not going to go undefeated. You're not going to more than likely go 16-1, although couldn't take it off the table. But yeah, you're as long as you show well against those teams going to the bye, I guess if you lose one of them, you'd be 5-2. Most fans would probably be pretty happy with it. Hey, good morning, Mary Smith. Drake, is McNeil back? It sounds like he's going to be back late this week, if not early next week. So how about this? Within the next 7 days, he's going to be back in the practice field for the Lions. Do or die bet. Good morning, coach and crew. Back at you. Johnny L. Good morning to you, Mary Smith. Hookadoo. Good morning, Queen of Grit. Dennis, good morning, Dan and Duke Crew. Good to see you, Dennis. It feels like it's been a hot second. Mary, my Grit brothers and queens, good morning. Pierce, Drady, no worries. Trying to stay up to date on the injuries and potential contract implications of potential moves. Yeah, it's no easy thing keeping up to date on that stuff. Coach Rock, good morning. Duke Crew, back at you, my friend. Silver Server, Social Malong, we are just not going to be on these channels. Darn, if I got to pay to talk, I'm just going to back down around the block, talk all I want, and look at some ladies to better my day. Yeah, I mean, I don't know about any of this. I just read the comments, man. And I'm not charging to read them. How about that? Leonard, good morning. Exclamation point. Dan and Duke Crew, back at you. JC, greetings, salutations, coach and crew. Exclamation point. Happy Help Day. Same to you, my friend. Dennis, we signed Trey Flowers and Ty Summers. Yeah, we did bring Ty Summers back. Probably should have had that in the 5 headlines now. Lauren, woo! Almost thought there wasn't a show today. Good morning, Dan and Duke Crew. Exclamation point. There's always a show, my friend. Steve, what's up? What's up, Steve? How you doing? Jennifer, time to start working. Hey, nothing wrong with getting your workday going. Hello, woo! Says Jack. Jack, how's your morning going? Mary Smith, Server. Are you being nasty this fine morning? Good morning. Good morning. We'll find out. Naughty. How about that? My bad. David, good morning. Dan and Duke. Hopefully this Trey Flowers will make an impact. Hopefully he will, man. Hopefully he'll supersede expectations. Drady, I'm sure if they didn't think they would get DJ back, they probably sign a bigger name corner, but they like their team. They do, and they do seem to have a lot of faith in the guys that are currently on the roster. Southwest, woo! Hey, Southwest, how you doing? Do or die, just practice squad guys, currently so. Henry Moore, I would have to refer to our offensive line as a high-speed, low drag. All right, I'll take that. Hookadoo, good, Coach Rock, your grit is welcome this morning, isn't it every morning? King SJ, good morning, Coach and Duke Crew. Always a pleasure to see you, my friend. Go Lions. I like the way you're thinking with the exclamation point. The Central Scrutinizer. Greetings, salutations, Coach and Duke Crew. Do you think we might see Raymond in the secondary this week? Probably. I wouldn't think so. Raymond's, I don't think he's any kind of a cornerback. So maybe I'm wrong there. Server. Good morning, Mary, and to all the do ladies, Susan, Cynthia, Jennifer, Tori, Tanya, and more. To all of them. Robert, greetings, salutations, Dan and Duke Crew. Back at you, my friend. Till then, Duke Crew discount on window cleaning. Hey, nothing wrong with that. Lions, do or die. What up, Doe, Kurt Steele? Amy, good morning, Johnny L. Coach Rock. Hookadoo, I'm always glad to add to all the grit you and all the Duke Crew bring to Coach Dan's show. Woo! Hey, let's all bring it one grit at a time. Broski, those ranks and sack stats are impressive. They're not too bad at all, are they, my friend? Not too bad at all. Sir, Mary, your girls are the one beacon of light in this hellish world. You girls, there you go. All right, Server. Great day. And that's after dealing with Parsons and Garrett. That's awesome. It is. It's no small task doing what they've done so far. Moonscar Blade, Broncos are actually first with 15 sacks. Lions second with 14 per ESPN. Like, all right, there you go. Let's see. Until the Hun, the need for more defensive narrative was always wrong. Sure, there's some rotation depth, but they don't need a high dollar edge. That could be accurate. Broski, shout out Moonscar Blade. Any more? Hey, Broski, good win. Exclamation point. Big D, morning crew, back at you. Amy, good morning. Lions, Queen Mary Smith, exclamation point. Moonscar Blade, I've been trying all morning to find team total pressures for this season. All right, let me know if I find them. Don Kong, Super Bowl bust. I like the way you're thinking. Dre Day, number 2 is still great, though. It is indeed. Moonscar Blade, good morning, Broski, my friend. Mary, Amy, good morning, Queen. Broski, Henry Moore, Dre Day. Top 3 is the top 10%, which is the definition of elite. Ooh, we are pretty elite. Leonard, greetings, salutations, Coach and Duke Crew. Always good to see you, my friend. Same old soup, reheated, tardy but present. I'll take you off the tardy list, naughty list, whatever list. Big D, Tyleik has been a freak so far. He has, man. He has been indeed. Tyleik the freak, indeed. Graded PFF is a joke. They had Parsons as the highest graded player last week. That's crazy. Yeah, and I don't know, man. Somebody would just have to explain to me how they're grading players. Big D, Saturday morning inspection did a episode on Williams. Check it out. We'll take a look at it. Johnny L, PFF doesn't even have a clue. That might be accurate. Chuck, PFF is terrible. They have agendas that make stats fit their narrative. That could be accurate. 100% there, Chuck. Good call there. Big D and Ratledge. Lions do or die. I like that, Big D. Miss Amberly, I'm excited about Miles Frazier playing our offensive line. I was also very impressed by him during his OTA interview. He's strong, flexible, and true student of the game with an exclamation point. Yeah, it'll be nice once that knee's healed up to have him back out there. It'll be a nice additional depth piece for us. Coach Rock, who cares about them grades from Pro Football? Pro Football Focus. He's got the heart of a lion and plays hard every play. You're not wrong there. Moodscar Blade, Broski Bear, are you going to be on live today? We'll find out. Let's see. Silver, I would really like to see our Lions drafting a big-time player at the center position and another good, strong offensive tackle. Not forgetting Manu, of course, and another cornerback. As you can see, never have enough. No, you can never have enough of anything. So I'm sure they'll keep drafting and developing. Big D, thanks, buddy. Look at who. PFF can't even grade a first grade paper. That might be accurate. Mary Smith, I'm loving my baby rookies. They came to the den to play. Shout out to them. Well said, Mary. Roski, I've been going live on a Panthers channel lately. Probably going to go live in a couple of minutes, actually, on the channel you're referring to. Probably tonight, possibly today. Hey, all right, have a good time with whatever you do. Dre Day, Silver Server, you're going to cause another media frenzy with that tape. 2 years in a row, no edge. We'll see what they do. Big D Broski, how you been, bud? Nice to see you being civil. There you go. Dre Day, although I agree with your take, Surfer. Moonscar Blade is a pounding explosion. J-Mo Lions King, Tyleik is doing great. In your opinion, I think they are grading him low because sometimes he is giving up ground and sometimes not disengaging on the blocks. Might be. Leonard, it's still early, but from what I'm seeing, I'd place them at a 3, maybe 2. Okay. Johnny L is gaming over. Joe's, I think the Buffalo Bills better than our team at the moment. Yeah, could be. Yeah, if you're top 3, you're able to beat each other. But, I can definitely see where maybe some people would say, hey, Buffalo Bills are number 1 or 2. Man Barrett, greetings, salutations. Always a pleasure to see you, my friend, in the chat. Silver Server, Dre Day, I got so used to this supposed lack of true number 2 edge to put opposite Hutch that the defensive end position doesn't even cross my mind. Perhaps I have confidence in Ahmed Hassanin. Hey, we'll get him back, get him growing. Broski, Dan, the best teams in the NFC in any order: Eagles, Lions, Rams, Bucks in the AFC, Bills, Chiefs, Chargers, Broncos, Chiefs, and Broncos will get it together after rough starts. Could be accurate. Good call there. Dre Colin has the Lions at 8, Nick right at 7, Mina at 8, who's part of ESPN. We'll go with that. Charles, woo! Let's flip and go. I like the way you're thinking. Egon, I'm very interested to see how we match up with the Eagles. Yeah, give it time. We'll see it. Lions do or die. I would like to know which NFC teams is most penalized. Sure, like we are not the refs' favorites. No, I'd say we got to be, unfortunately, one of the leaders in penalties. Rock still could use that one player to put us over the hump. We'll see if we get him. Dre Day Broski, I wish the analysts thought the same thing. I've heard so many saying Eagles, Rams, Bucks, Seahawks, Packers, then Lions. Might be. Big D, Hutch stays on the field all 4 downs. Garrett 9 only plays on certain downs. I'd take Hutch any day over Garrett. All right. Dre Day, Z is showing his age, apparently. That could be accurate. Do or die. Let's see. Hutch fights through everything for his teammates. Yes, he does. He's one heck of a teammate. DM5 TV, Dre Day, all 3 of them are clowns. Colin and Nick are never right, and who cares about Mina thinks. Dre Day, they are big names in the media, and if you don't live in the Michigan area, that's the only media you hear. Unfortunately, might be true. Dre Day, agree. They're all joke, just frustrating. DM5, no one watches that anymore, at least not like they used to. Plus, RC is everywhere, and he's so annoying. RC, I guess I don't know who that is. See, Silver Server, if anybody from the Detroit Lions organization is listening to this, do me personally a favor. Put those wonderful silver pants back on the uniforms, as I am not enjoying the ballerina suit anyway, too. Okay? Coach Rock, Z has rust and knows and Russ to knock off with no training camp. That could be it. Yeah, maybe Za'Darius has to bust off some of the rust. Silver Coach, I heard Alim back at practice this week. Campbell actually said that on the radio. He did say it, and yeah, that's what I was saying. Maybe this week or early next week he'll be back. After this week, we should get Med Hassan back also in 4 weeks. Yeah, he'll be back around week 9-ish, somewhere in that range. Silver, good news, especially for Ahmed. So, Kurt Steele, 2 for main topic, like Little Caesars back in the day. Pizza, exclamation point. You gotta like it, man. Gotta like it. And that is a bit of a throwback. I like Little Caesars pizza. Johnny Gas Sports, good morning. Duke Crew, exclamation point. Happy hump day. Always good to see you guys, man. Silver Surfer is waving. DM5. I still say if he's medically cleared, go after Asante Samuel Jr. I wouldn't be upset if they did it, if he's cleared. Thomas, with McNeil, rotate him first. It's going to take time, at least 2 or 3 games to get into real shape, no matter what. I think would not bring him back until after the bye week. Yeah, could be. Bo, Alim and company, it's all about the rotation. Queen Mary, my thoughts on older players is you're waiting for on getting signed by a team, start working out, stay in shape, because I feel like when you want to get paid, you have to show your worth. You're right with that. Jason, Levi's Stadium or bust with an exclamation point. Well said. The center scrutinizer, Scuba 14 Ks. Woo! Let's hope they can do that again and seal the deal today. Thomas, when is Rodrigo supposed to be back? No word lately, but they were targeting middle of this month. I got to remember it's October. Johnny Gaz, getting a lean back in the mid-season sparks this team's needs. Can't wait to see the D-line with this big man involved. No, I think you're spot on. You add him to the mix. Man, that's going to be nice. Okay, words of wisdom, Queen Mary, do or die. Let's go Tigers. Kerry, agreed, Coach Rock. Thomas, and squash the like, y'all. Yes, hit the like, hit the subscribe if you would be so kind. Crayon eating McNeil at defensive end opposite Hutch with Reader and Williams in the middle would be a real B5 to try to run against. I like it. I like it indeed. Detroit D, good morning, Duke Crew, and back at you, my friend. Detroit, Dr. Detroit, we won't be saying give Alim time. He just got back, or is he an all-pro day one? Probably not going to be all-pro day one, although I've been wrong before. Probably going to give him time. Crayon eating, Lions are going to score a laughable amount of points against this terrible Bengals defense. I hope you're right, my friend. Detroit D, let's send a 5th or 6th to Seattle for Wilden. I did see that people have talked about maybe them shipping him off. That's surprising to me, but hey, if we could do that and add him, man, that depth, that'd be real nice. Lionel is killing it, 100% with that. Mariota is killing it. There you go. Coach Rock. Well, what were Muhammad's stats against the fill-in left tackle against the Browns? I was just wondering. That I don't have in front of me, my friend. Not at all. Kurt Steele, Dr. Troy, good question. Is he the best interior pass rush on the Lions? We'll find out. Dr. Troy, he was. We haven't seen him this year. JC, any word on the team's interest in Asante Samuel Jr.? Thoughts? You know, I did a show on it yesterday. I think there's definitely interest, but there's a lot of teams interested. I think that everybody's just waiting to see the results of they're supposed to come out later this week. Coach Rock, Alim needs time in the trenches to get back, 100%. Detroit, Dr. Detroit, he just, wait a minute, he isn't just coming back and dominating right off the bat. Man, wouldn't that be something if he would, though? Silver, Tarquin Willen has a ton of physical talent. I agree. But you need to trade for him, and he is on the last year of his deal, so you'd have to pay him after the season if worthy. He is 6'4" and runs like a bullet. Yeah, imagine him playing outside for you. Although I don't know enough about him to know if he's going to be great in man coverage, guarding slots, and anything like that. We'd have to find out, or the team would have to know. Lionel, so when's Dylan Raiola is available. Let's think about it. His dad was one of the best Lions ever. We'll see if they decide to go with him at quarterback. Thomas, good morning. Dan and the Duke Crew, go Lions. I like the way you're thinking. Dr. Troy, we don't need to pick players based on their parents. Okay. Thomas, we need J-Mo to show up this week. Hopefully he does show up. That would be good. Lionel, he's pretty dang good, though. Thomas, Hassanin will be back, true. But remember, he is a rookie and has missed a lot of football. I agree. If he is healthy, won't be ready until the 14th or 15th game, I'm assuming. Love him, but needs time. Yeah, most rookies need time. He'll need time to catch up as well. Dan, was it Lions are the best team in the NFL? Let's hope so. DM5, Lionel, he's a knockoff Mahomes. The kid is literally trying to be Mahomes. That's pretty weird, don't you think? I think probably a lot of people, especially if they're about that age, they probably grew up wanting to mimic and be like Patty Mahomes. Lionel, he played baseball as well. Most quarterbacks emulate their dad idols. How about that? See, Thomas, oh no, exclamation. He sacked himself twice this year already. Not a real good game manager. All right, Raiola. All right. Big Belly Lou, if Flowers can help us win games, I'm all for it. Let's go Lions. I like the way you're thinking. At the end of the day, that's all you're worried about. Can he win? DM5 Lionel, the kid literally tries to walk, look, and act like Mahomes. That's weird. Hey, people imitate people. Silver, let's see. Wooden has 6 INTs in his rookie season. He did. Thomas Miles Frazier, when given time, he's going to be a stud when healthy. Let's get him healthy then. Lionel, yeah, he could be original haircut at least. Okay. Gary, I think Rodrigo will be 2 weeks. Thomas, could be. Thomas, thanks, CS, Blind Tom. Man, talking about somebody I haven't seen in a hot second. When is Pascal coming back, and do you think he'll make a big difference? It's hard to say, guys, because if we don't know the full story behind what he's going through, I don't even know if he'll be back this year. I mean, if it's bad enough, maybe not ever. I have nothing but thoughts and prayers for the young man and his family, man, because, yeah, it's not good. How about that? Chuck, honestly, if I'm the team losing, I'd be madder if the other team saying we don't have to keep the gas down to beat you. Could be. Dylan, they really didn't run the score against Chicago. If they wanted to, they could have scored 60. I agree with that. They could have put up 60. The Bears are that bad. They were that weak for sure. Kurt Steele, server, knock on wood, is that he doesn't want to contribute in run support. Would it be a Lion then if that's the case? Tell the Hun, by the way, I know that Pascal is dealing with, but he himself said he wanted to return and play football again. I pray he can fulfill his dreams. Yeah, well said, my friend. Well said. Hope he gets well. Dennis, good morning. Kurt, Dennis, good morning. Jonathan, good morning. Back at you. Dennis, I'm always around, always in the shadows. Verbal Ken, I don't understand fans nitpicking DC's call on 4th down. It's who we are and who we've been under the head coach. Yeah, 100%. And it's just, I know Ben Johnson mentioned it. It's what they do. You know, you don't like it? Stop them. It's that simple. Julius, any info on Kirby's injury? PCL is what's been reported, so it's been strained. Sounds like he's been dealing with it all camp. How much is he going to really improve this year? Probably not much, man. He would need a lot of rest to really improve that, and I just don't know if he's going to get that opportunity. Pat, I say run up the score, exclamation point, all the years being on the losing side for years and years. That could be. Service coach, the game was won, and MCDC went on 4th down, scored with St. Pee Wee or professionals. It's still human beings. Don't emulate them. MCDC did this against Denver. I love Dan no matter what. Yeah, it's who he is. It's what he does. And all I can say is, I remember watching and covering, college and professional games. It happens, and some people get offended by it. Others don't. You can't make everybody happy. I guess that's what I would say, Silver. Let's see, Pierce. Julius, Kirby's knee will be a problem all season? Probably. Blind Tom, whatever happened to Nick Whiteside and Nate Lynn? Both are free agents. I wouldn't be surprised if they bring back Whitehouse, though. I thought he played pretty well in the preseason. Good morning, Coach and Duke Crew. Exclamation point, says Vernon. Coach, why are we talking about the Bear? If they had chance, they would have ran up the score like they did in the day. They probably did at times. DM5 Silver is stripping today, huh? It happens. Silver Kurt Steele, thank you. Perhaps they can install that in him. What an athlete. He is an athlete, indeed. Phil, good morning. Good morning, Phil. Lauren, good morning. Greetings, Sanitations. Coach Dan of the Duke Crew looking for the Lions to score 42 points on the Bengals, 42-10. One proud worldwide. Woo! I like the way you're thinking. Silver, DM5 TV. Did I say anything so absurd? Thomas, Lions 16-1 is possible. It is indeed. Dominic, good morning from Texas. Thank you for that yesterday, by the way. Wanted to give you a shout on there for the donation. And hey, good morning to you as always. Kurt Steele, as a content creator myself, I have to put the bulk of our content out for free. Subscribers and 1% exclusive content to members. All content behind a paywall is dirty work. I don't know anything about the paywalls or stuff. I haven't looked into them. Thomas, anytime you can get up 14 plus points with a field goal, I'd take it, but that's not how MCDC rolls. Sometimes his game management is strange for sure. I'll go with that. Kurt Steele, server. Yeah, he may not be in Seattle long. Could be. Sure, says Thomas. Gary, I stand at 14-3 for the season. I'll take that. Thomas, how about a Sheila? How about a Sheila? 1, 2, and a 3. I got to find it on my screen. Kurt Steele, Gary, sounds good. Ziggy and friends, good morning. Captain Dan and the Duke Crew All-Stars. Go Lions. I like it. Like indeed, my friend. Bo, 14-3. Thomas, woo! DM5, I hope we draft a top corner next year if one's available. That would be good. Hookadoo, 14-3 here. Also, Lions Roar. Carrie, did you get the drink, Bo? We'll find out. Bo, Carrie, just one scotch and one beer. It sounds like a song. Southwest, the heck with Buffalo. We can beat them. People act like they won a Super Bowl. They did, man. It's just part of the media. Vernon, coach, where is our offensive weapon at? Skipper? He's still recovering from an injury, I believe. Phil, hot sauce on pizza? You ain't wrong there. That's a definite plus right there. Blind Tom, I really like Nick Whiteside and Nate Lynn. Yeah, I was surprised Nate Lynn didn't get snagged by anybody, but probably also says what their thoughts on him. Isaiah and friends, go Tigers. Let's see what they do. Carrie, the clock is on the wall. Says it's 2 o'clock. Go stare at the clock. Leo, the dream of Tyleik together or Dream and Hutch together, and not going to be many double teams with those three together. No, I think you're right with that. Coach Tiny K, hey, Coach and Duke Crew, exclamation point. Happy new month. Yes, it is the start of a new month. Lauren, anyone watching St. Brown podcast today? Check it out. Happy Trails Duke Crew, all done and dusted. One pride worldwide. See you next time. Bo Booth, Happy Trails Duke Crew, all done and dusted for the day. See you later. See you tomorrow. Kurt Steele, see you guys in a few minutes on the Boss Up Ball channel with an exclamation point. Gary, happy trails on Hump Day. Go Lions. Woo! Hey, let's see what happens to us this day. Brandon, you think signing Trey Flowers is a good signing? It's good for depth. You at least have a little bit more corner depth on the practice squad. You guys get it. All right, guys, I'm going to go ahead and get on out of here. If you haven't yet subscribed to Lions Talk Live, please consider doing so. Also, hit that thumbs up button on your way out. If there is breaking news later today, I'll get it over to you as soon as possible. Otherwise, if you be so kind, be kind to each other. Do something kind for somebody you don't know. Be a good human being. We'll see you all on the next Lions Talk Live. Take care, everybody.
Excuse me, sir, would you... Donations to the Reverend Moon? Jews for Jesus? Read about Jehovah's Witness? How about Buddhism? How Jerry's kids? Oh, yeah. Scientology? Or nuclear power?